Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Mike Stansbury. Thanks for being here. And we got a special guest from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Mr. Dan Jones. Dan, how are you, sir?
I'm great. I'm thrilled to be here, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear your story, your origin story, and what you're doing now, and talk all things real estate. But first, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted and allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. Dan, tell me, what is, I always like to start here. What is your origin story? When did you get started in real estate? Maybe tell me what you were doing before real estate. How did you get down this yellow brick road?
Got it. The Batman origin story. Okay. So, like most, it did not start out in real estate. It did not start out with where I am today. Current snapshot is I do run a marketing agency. I am a real estate investor myself. And as such, I have now niched down my agency to facilitate strategic marketing for real estate investors, specifically acquisitions. To get there, I didn't start in marketing. I graduated high school, went to college, in a pretty traditional educational institution format, which did not really facilitate success for entrepreneurs like myself. Called, oh, you're the gifted kid, great. And basically, I was a flunky because I couldn't focus because none of it interested me.
Right.
Fine, it is what it is. I'm not making excuses. I just was delayed in getting there. So I went into tech. I did some IT work, network administrations, building websites for internal networks, for intranets. I'd been, building websites since the 90s, just hand coding some HTML back when that was a thing. So it was something I always kind of had as a skill set, but never really leveraged or monetized. Fast forward a little bit to 2008. We all know what that meant in the real estate community, so we don't have to wax philosophical on that too much. Same thing happened in finance, which is where I was working for a bank. A lot of layoffs, acquisitions, mergers, and I found myself with the option of move to parent company in Canada or take severance and ship out. I am a hockey player, but Canada wasn't the right choice for me at the time, nor is it now. I love the Philly area. So I was shaken, right? I was had a moderately successful early career. Sorry, now I got my dog barking.
That's all right. We know what that's like.
Yeah. Shaken. Like, what am I going to do? I barely have an associate's degree. Everybody's looking for bachelor's or master's in IT in order to succeed. So I just worked for a local retail business. Again, not even in a marketing capacity, but as the person who can solve problems. All right. So there's one of my quote unquote superpowers. Second, so I rode that for a little while trying to rediscover myself. Since I was able to build websites and do some graphic design, early days of social media marketing, I took on some freelance work with local businesses in the area doing just that, but with no real strategy behind it on what is my niche. It was just kind of getting things done, basic positioning. But, I dove headfirst into all things marketing about 15 years ago and was able to, leverage the experience with those clients to then get into marketing, working specifically for a car dealer, independent car dealer in the Philadelphia area with 3 locations, and worked my way to the top just by problem solving and giving customers and clients what they want in the simplest way possible.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So then I'm director of marketing. Well, cool. I didn't go to school for that, but I learned the hard way that applying basic principles to the 4 Ps, and we can actually extend it to more Ps like people in marketing, that all we have to do is give people value, give people what they want in the simplest way possible. So that's where I rode that wave for a while. Now you see this logo up here, Fire Your Boss. Again, still working for somebody is not the best use of my time, dare I say. So as I'm acquiring this book of business, as a freelancer, I'm doing well in marketing, but still not happy because I'm working for somebody else. A few years ago, I rolled the dice and said I quit. Now that client, that employer became my client because I have a very good relationship with them. But they were my first big boy client as a marketing freelancer. And then I turned it into a pretty standard industry agnostic marketing agency doing WordPress sites, branding, social media marketing, and paid ads. Industry agnostic, staying in the area. It was almost by accident I got into real estate.
All right.
Yeah, right. Like it seems to be how it happens. I came across a group of local entrepreneurs who were they all ran multiple businesses. They're kind of like multipreneurs, which is a term I love, just in running a business and being a real estate investor. So I joined this local community. It was spearheaded by a guy named Larry Steinhaus, who runs actually a real estate and financial literacy school, an institution. So not like a college, but like like akin to like a Pace Morby or what like Tiffany and was it Tiffany and Josh High are doing. It's escaping me what their program's called, but it's education on real estate and financial independence. So I went to a school. I joined his community of people. I ended up doing marketing work for him. So I, learned in a very short time, wow, real estate is where all the money is. We know the stat 90% of millionaires are so because they do real estate deals. Well, yeah, I went in on that. And being a master synthesizer, I learned the basics like how to buy a property with no money down and all that stuff, and how to create cash flow on a rental property. Cool. This is going back about 3 years. Picked up a couple clients in real estate just because me and my people were known as getting things done. Just applying best practices with you being business owner, real estate investment company, what you know how to do better than I do. It's my job to connect your solutions with the customers or sellers, depending on the context. So I learned everything I could and realized that there's so much saturation out there in real estate investing, especially on the acquisition side, that's a good thing. I'm always going to say saturation is a good thing because that means you don't have to you don't need market validation.
Right.
High
It validates
competition.
itself. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's validated, but you have to find your area, either 10% different or 10% better, in order to compete. And that's what we did. So we found that really our core offer is niching down, standing out, connecting better, and scaling faster um, by combining brand marketing with performance marketing. And that's what we do.
So that's today. That's today what Dan Jones is focusing on. And so tell me a little bit about some client wins or so. How you got into stacking these niches and what that means for the end, whether they're wholesaler, fix and flip, or whatever that looks like.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, so the primary, we have 10 clients on retainer right now, which are wholesalers / fix and flippers. I think one of the first coolest wins was our ability to create a minimum viable brand, offer, and campaign in like record time. And the reality is AI helped us do that. So case in point, I have a Philly-based investor who they're pretty well niched down because they've been in business for a long time. So they know they want multifamilies in a specific geographic area who are looking for loan modifications. So they're pretty dialed in on the type of avatar they're looking for. And they're not wholesaling too much. They're doing more of fix and flips themselves with the occasional hold. But they came to me with an idea to target the Florida market because they had some boots on the ground there in like end of summer into fall of 2024, where we had a couple hurricanes, Milton and Helena. Helena?
Right.
One of them.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
To target properties that were specifically damaged, underinsured, and basically to wholesale or to buy and flip themselves. I said, all right, it's an interesting idea. So I worked with them. Again, they're already a client, so I already had that working relationship, and we already had a tech stack and some solutions we could offer. The challenge was creating this campaign as fast as possible. So they spun up a new LLC, Florida Home Buyer Solutions. Actually, they did the dirty work of grabbing the list of potentially damaged houses, and we narrowed that down to absentee owners. Targeting specifically landlords, which is, hey, you don't want this property anymore. It's damaged. You don't want to fix it. We're going to take it off your hands, liquidate your asset. That is the main value prop. Slammed them with a 3-piece mailer and a digital retargeting campaign.
Okay, do you do the mailing yourself too as well, or do you is that a third party that handles that?
So my agency can, and we do use a third-party affiliate to facilitate that. In this case, my client handled that internally themselves. So we used the same list to hit up the omni-channel. We were able to create an entire new brand for this business within less than 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That includes the website, a pipe to the CRM, a brand, a logo, an offer, a funnel, retargeting campaigns, and even A/B testing, right? Like this is stuff that used to take weeks to do and massive amounts of staff. So we did it within 48 hours, launched, and in 6 weeks, they did like 4 deals or something like that. More wholesale. I think 1 flip and 3 wholesale. But either way, it was almost like, all right, this is almost too much. We're gonna shut this down now that we entered and exited that quickly. We're gonna go back to our target area. So that's like a pretty unique win and proof of concept that we were able to accomplish last year.
Wow. Well, that is so with the combination of AI and then what you already know is your focus as far as marketing is concerned, you're able to spin this up in a very short period of time and then get results. So, which is pretty awesome. Do you have any numbers as far as what they were able to wholesale those items for? Like, I always like to get in the details of speed. All right, this cost this much for this whole campaign, and it netted this result as far as the numbers were concerned. And again, don't expect you to know 100%, but if you can throw spaghetti at the wall and let us know what that looks like.
I don't know. I do know I have an aggregate across all clients only because we do have some NDAs in place where we don't want to divulge specifically, but um, I do have that handy.
Oh, look at
Again,
that.
this is aggregate, so um, usually cost per acquisition, our target is around $2,000.
Okay, yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
That's from the bottom up. So yeah, from there, then we reverse engineer the process. And that's very dependent on the type of avatar that we're targeting. So
Okay. Yeah.
pre-foreclosures, we're going to put in a 6-month sales cycle versus end stage sheriff sale. We obviously there's a quicker close and a quicker return, a quicker conversion happening there. But that's basically on a CPL. So we got about $60 cost per lead, which that's across all channels. So, and I'm not even going to say if it's a qualified lead or not. Yes, that's a low number. A highly qualified lead, industry standard in our area is about 500. We keep it around 250.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
So bypassing a lot of pay per lead companies because we're creating our own leads. Aggregate of entire funnel, we're doing $60, $70 leads here. Again, because of that higher funnel retargeting.
Right. And so, and these are leads that are we'll just give you some grace on the qualification, but they're in your CRM now, and they're able to be followed up with, and you never know what'll happen. So, which is a beautiful thing. I'm always
They raise their hand for help, right?
Yeah.
And that's you can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, and
Right?
it's very interesting. There's this inbound, outbound, leads, and I see more real savvy investors going toward. I want to deal with people that have raised their hand. We do cold calling and we do texting and we get deals from it, but it's a much easier, more fun deal when somebody gets your piece and they respond to you. And it's because what happens normally, and maybe I'd love your feedback on this. Normally, if your piece is good, they're just dealing with you. Now, they sometimes reach out to other people, but if you're good enough, you and can get rapport. And if you do the back end stuff right, usually that's usually you're the problem solver, as you said earlier. You can take that deal from batter to cake pretty easily.
That's 100% right. And I do like the first thing you touched on about outbound versus inbound. Outbound works, right? And there's entire businesses out there that thrive on that. But that has to be down to the individual organization, the owner. What do you want to be doing and overseeing? Do you want to be overseeing outbound at volume or inbound at volume?
Right.
And I'm going to say pick one or the other is the first thing you do.
Right.
Because you have to be comfortable doing it. I don't do outbound. I don't do outbound at all. My form of advertising, I'm doing it right now, people. It's going out there, getting out there and talking about what we do and how we help people.
Yeah.
Not even upper funnel, out of funnel, right? So that's the first choice to make. And then, so I would say don't hire us if you want outbound. I can point you in the right direction. Actually, I know a guy who does almost exclusively outbound in larger assets and commercial deals in the Philadelphia area and is absolutely smoking. And he's the same as mine. Instead of doing spaghetti marketing, pick 2 or 3 channels, or as Google recommends, 4 channels that work, and dial in there and optimize.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Yep. 4 channels that optimize. I've heard it, and people need to hear it again and hear it again because we get all distracted. We're squirrels, and that's what that looks like sometimes. So Dan, tell us a little bit more about you and about what you're doing besides real estate. What does life look like? We know we heard the dog in the background. I've got my dog in the background, but what is family life like? Hobbies outside of real estate? What is Dan Jones about?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So yeah, I apologize about the dogs. I don't know. I guess the door cracked open probably from the
No
cat.
apologies necessary. It's live, folks. You never
Yeah.
know what's going to happen here.
That's about it. But that's part of me and my brand is I'm a bit contrarian. I'm not never going to be a shirt and tie guy again, ever.
Right.
And have I left money on the table that way? Absolutely. But I'm also, working with the people I want to, and living a bit of lifestyle freedom right now. Uh, I hang out with my wife. We have our dogs, and we both play hockey. I play hockey like 5 times a week. At the age of, as we're recording this now, almost 41 years old. Like, how cool is that?
Doesn't get better than that. No,
Yeah,
sir.
we do a little traveling here and there. Just got back from Fan Expo in Philly, so we nerded out at the same time. Yeah, no, I'm obsessed with creating passive income, front loading the work to then chill out on the back end. It
Right.
took me a while to get here, so I guess in some ways I'm still kind of enjoying that rather
Yeah.
than focusing as much as I should be. Enjoying the time I got back from 20 years, not 20, I guess it was about 20 years of working for somebody else.
Yes, but that's good that you figured out what you're doing, and one of the things is once you have that entrepreneurial bug and you have a little modicum of success, you know you can do it, and that it's repeatable, and you know you're never going back, which is good.
It makes one unhireable.
Right. All right. So, what's the worst injury you've had that you've either given or received in hockey?
Um, Acute injury. I've been pretty lucky, I guess. I got cut with a skate when I was a kid, but like, now I'm like middle aged, so my wrist kind of hurts perpetually because I don't let it heal enough.
Yeah, that's 41. That's what that
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. And given, actually today, about 3 hours before we recorded this, I hit a goalie in the face mask with a puck about 3 times.
Yeah.
So that was not so good for him.
Right. He's going to have a little CTE
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
But
And safety lesson. Okay, so now this triggered something in me.
yeah.
Is I'd say about 6 or 7 years ago, I was a holdout on wearing a full cage mask, as we
Right.
usually do in rec league or beer league. I sold a little half visor like they wear in the NHL, which is a league I have never played in and will never play in, because they get paid to do so and I don't. I took some friendly fire in the mouth area from a high stick, and from that point on, I said, I guess we're wearing the birdcage now.
Yeah, I'll never forget. My dad was the same. My dad was 41 years old. He was playing softball, and he tried to stretch a double into a triple. And the guy from right field threw a frozen rope, but it did not hit the glove. It hit my dad's head. And they played, in softball, you didn't necessarily wear a helmet, or the helmet may have flown off, but he literally walked off. He got up, walked off, and said, "I'm done. I'm done playing.
Oh, done playing?
I'm done playing." He just
Oh,
is
that's a
like,
shame.
yeah, I know. He just couldn't. He just couldn't. First of all, you don't need to be stretching no double and a triple at 41 years old. And yeah, I remember because he did have a pretty bad concussion after that. But you learn, and you find something else to do, or you get the mask, you get the full on shield, so you don't look like a dental patient full time.
Yeah. So and I gotta wonder how many guys in his league were able to throw that way to be able to dissuade him from coming back. That was like that's a one off. All
It's a one
right,
off.
there's nobody
Yeah,
strong like that.
nobody's doing that. So you're helping multiple different real estate investors in different markets,
Yeah.
and so we talked about this. So you're getting data. So are you helping them with their list stacking? Are you also helping in any kind of way with their PPC or PPL or anything like that? What other services do you provide at this point, Dan?
So what my main role would be fractional CMO, which is Chief Marketing Officer for businesses who need a strategist but don't need a full-time strategist. So it's like marketing consultant. I can come in, depending on the situation of the business, help them scale by leveraging all the other vendors they have. But we do have a full in-house staff and stack that if there's any gap fulfillment we can provide, we will do so, or take over from other vendors who, I hate to say it, but we can do better.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, you have to say that, and you have to execute on that. I always ask this question because I get it all the time from people. Is there any, as far as the CRMs go, or things that you like to use in your business? What are things that you're using now, or what do you recommend in that space, or do you have one at all?
I don't have a chief recommendation for a CRM because we use a few of them. Like my own, I use Brevo, which used to be called Send and Blue, and it was predominantly for email marketing. But you can use it as a very basic pipeline CRM. I've got some clients who are using Salesforce. I've got some using REI Sift. End of the day, if you can create a pipeline and some Zapier integrations, I really don't care or have a really
Right.
big recommendation. The simpler, the better.
Right.
Because you can really get into the weeds incorrectly with some stuff, and having some false positives on a very small amount of data. I don't love Salesforce for that reason, is because
Right.
of how nuanced and how granular
And
some of
robust.
the
It's crazy. Yeah.
well, robust is that can be a value, but is it good for e-commerce? Absolutely. If Coca-Cola wants to know how they can make a half of a cent more on each can of soda they sell, that's what Salesforce is good for. Fewer than five, acquisitions per month, or even a couple hundred conversions, some of the data is almost useless until you have like years and years and years worth.
Yeah. I agree. I'm always interested in that and hearing people's ideas about that. But I think that the principle is correct. If your pipeline's good, then it's the CRM that you use is the best one that you're able to maximize. So Dan, your fractional CMO, again, I don't want to get in the weeds with this, but what does that usually look like for somebody that maybe is doing, I mean, what is it that Dan charges if you want to go into that? How does that work? What's the value proposition there?
If you want to get into specific numbers, it's really usually bespoke for each client, but I have going into it my 597 offer, which is a 1 hour consultation with a 1 hour follow up, and in between that, I give you a roadmap of your top three growth levers, uh, depending on where you're at in your business. And I know this is kind of vague, but since I do work with multiple industries, I can't. I will put it in the real estate context. What's working and what's not. I'll give you your top three growth levers, where the opportunities lie, and what you should do with your existing uh, resources today, and then a roadmap for an entire year. And if someone wants to hire us as a month-over-month consultant to scale and implement those systems, that 597 offer gets rolled into, it's credited towards whatever they pick up.
Sure.
And it can be as simple as just PPC management, right? Maybe that's their gap, because it's as simple as possible. Your ad has to match your landing page and has to match what the person on the phone is going to say. And the amount of like incongruency I see there and lack of synergy is astounding. And that's like one of the bigger patches to deploy that gives people some quick wins and like will even double their conversion rates with the same amount of marketing spend.
Yeah, because the communication's off, and
Yeah. Yeah.
because yes. So I get that. That's a real good value add. I see the same thing when I look at other marketing as well. So yeah, that is a great value add. So Dan, where can we find you on the web? Where we can find you on the socials? Let us know what that looks like.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of using other people's audiences. I don't have terribly large socials myself, but I have a couple of partners I work with, who have followers in the hundreds of thousands to millions. So we work together, and I get to leverage our audience. But my businesses are at manyresults.com
Okay.
and investordealflow.com.
Awesome. Well, guys, folks, if you want to learn more about Dan Jones, we'll have that information in the show notes. So you can click on that and find him there. Dan, thank you for being a part of the Real Estate Pros podcast. It was wonderful getting to know you and very informative. Folks, like and subscribe and come back and see us next time on the Real Estate Pros podcast.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.